So, my guest, Bryce Monson. Do you want to introduce yourself, or do you want me to introduce you?
Go ahead, man. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so Bryce works with me in our department. We met just through there. We worked on the same crew.
Yeah. 1C.
But hit it off right away. I found Bryce to be incredibly intelligent, extremely funny, but also just a person who you just have the characteristics that I would use to evaluate any person as being thoughtful, kind, considerate, works hard. You see beyond yourself into other people, I think, and you treat people with so much respect and humor and genuine interest that I just tend to think like people like that just are not as common. And so when I met you, I was just like, oh, this is a fucking really good dude. And then on top of it, just a man of many interests, which I think which I fucking love. It's one of my
they're constantly changing.
And also too a person of like but also one of the things like literally we just talked about at Station 3 was so funny. You came up because Carrie loves you. And so Carrie's always like, the best thing about Bryce is like you would come in on a random week, a random day, and all of a sudden he'd have a whole new thing. A whole new thing he was into. I don't know if it's a good thing. No, man, I think it's super fascinating and also a sign that like you're also just a pretty open person to I think anything. It doesn't mean that you would jump on it or whatever, but just like you're interested to hear, to listen, to learn, to try stuff. But yeah, and then outside of that, just a dude that like I think I just respect, and you're obviously very good at the job, but you're good at so many things, and a person that I think we've also just had really legitimate conversations beyond just like your, hey man, yada yada, did you see the game? Did you whatever? And that's been very like lovely for me, and it's just been good to count you as a friend. Thanks, I've loved it, even though we've moved a little bit in different paths and kind of separate as you've gone down to the station you're at and I'm up in the area I am. We've just still been able to be homies and shit. So, but yeah, outside of that, we're going to get into it because this is a fucking big year for you. There's a lot cooking.
There's a lot cooking.
But does this feel like a fair description of who you are?
I mean, it's flattering, and I don't see myself that way, and but I appreciate it, my guy. I appreciate it.
Good. Well, I think it's fair, and I think it's right. But okay,
well,
so
and honestly, man, and likewise, dude, like you're one of those dudes that I've appreciated and loved from the beginning, man.
Thanks. Man.
You're solid. There's when I'm at work, it's easy to get into. We're getting into some stuff now, I guess, but it's easy to get into this like mindset of you get frustrated with other coworkers or whatever, and it's real easy to just kind of start talking about people or whatever, and I try to catch myself because you've never done that. You're always talking positive about people, and so I try to be more like Jason when I can.
That's very kind.
You know what I mean?
I'm not perfect. I've had my moments of talking shit, but I think I try to realize that most people are doing the best they can. And usually when someone's doing something that I wouldn't naturally do, I usually go like, there's probably something there I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. It's such a good juxtaposition. It's why Waldo's one of my favorite people on the planet, why we get on so good, because he's in some ways the opposite, which I love. Awesome, not the opposite. Not like a shit talker, but just he has always been more certain of himself. And I love that. I love that trait. But I think for me, I'm always like, maybe I'm not understanding everything, and funny enough, it's bit me in the ass a few times, where like, so it's weird. It's hard to do this job well. We obviously are like such a family. We're around each other all the time. So no one's perfect. And I think just knowing that, I think helps me. Like, I just know I fucking piss some people off. I just know I've done some boneheaded shit.
Hey, me too, man. Me too, dude. I feel you. Waldo's, you bring up Waldo's funny because he's one, I've been a DDI for a little while now.
Okay.
And, we'll bring guys down for the annual pump recert of the rodeo. And usually, like, I'm like, cool, here's what we're doing, guys. Like, you do your thing. Whenever I see it's Waldo, I'm like, okay, he's going to give me shit. Be professional. Just don't let him bulldoze you.
Yeah, I mean,
I love you, Waldo. You're awesome, man.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I think that's one of the great parts of his personality, though, is just like, it's one of the things I revere the most about him is that he is who he is.
He's solid
all the way. Yeah. And I think it's like, it's one of the things I would say the same about you. I'd say the same about Fergs and, Shribes, Duke, or some folks that I just happen to be closer with from academy and, relationships. There's a lot of them. I mean, I think we're pretty fortunate. Our department is filled with a bunch of, really fucking
We have some
people.
amazing people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely an honor to be around the people we're around.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing it, dude? Because you were there right after me.
Yeah, I was the class right after you. So I'm starting the 9th year at the department.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You still digging it?
Oh, absolutely, man.
Good.
It's I was in a weird place when I got hired. I had just gotten out of the military and I didn't know what I was going to do. And was kind of just praying about it and trying to figure out, next steps. And a buddy of mine, he works for Kirkland for the streets, like sewer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Hey man, we're hiring. You could just come work with me while you're trying to figure out your, whatever you're going to do long term." So I go to the job posting site that he sent me to, and right below Kirkland's storm sewer, whatever job opening was Bellevue Fire, entry level firefighter.
Oh, shit.
No experience needed. and I was looking at it and I was like, screw it. Let's just do it. See what happens.
Yeah.
And I think I had just about enough money in my checking account to pay for the testing process. And I got into the last test deadline for the CPAT and the written.
Yeah.
The last one Bellevue was going to accept before it was too late for that year.
Oh, wow.
And just sent it.
That's money, dude.
It was awesome.
So you'd never applied at a fire department before?
No,
and it was just bang, one shot.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got super lucky. I'm super I don't say
there's so people they're gonna fuck.
They're gonna be mad, dude. Yeah. People are gonna be upset about that.
I love it though. I love it, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, but you've been doing it now almost a decade.
Yeah.
And you're still digging it.
Love it, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm so happy, bro. It's so funny because when I first met you, you were kind of, at least from the little that I knew you, it sounded like a lot about your life was in flux and transition. And there were some good parts and some tough parts, like anybody's life, you know, but I think more than anything, it felt like this was kind of, I wouldn't say if it was like a fresh start, but more like kind of, it felt like it was a good step in a direction that you wanted to
100%
wanted to go
100%.
And then when you were here, however it shook out at some point, and this is part of the big year that's going on, which is one of the main reasons I want to talk to you, because I think this is one of the largest transformations I've seen you make as a person. And I think it's one of those transformations that so many people I know could resonate with, even myself, dude, my own life, is that you go through a phase because you kind of grew up with a belief system and a way of operating.
Yeah, I was Mormon, grew up Mormon.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And
if that's what you're referring to,
no, well, that I just know that, and then also too, even coming out of the military, right? I think you're just one of those people that you work so hard at whatever you're doing, and so if you go to a place and someone goes, "Hey, this is the thing," and you're like, "Oh, okay,
let's go."
Then you're kind of fucking, all right, we're sending it, all right. And then I think down the road, the transitions you made out of that, I remember meeting you, and I don't remember how close it was to the end of your first
marriage.
First marriage.
Yeah,
and that was a tough season. I've gone through that. It's super hard. But was that when you got hired, or where was that in your life at that time?
The downfall started while I was still in the army, dude. It was, man, it was a bit of a I could tell something was going on with her and things didn't quite feel right, but she wasn't admitting to anything. I don't know. I didn't know what was up, but something was up. Got out and got hired, with the fire department, and it was probably halfway through academy where actually, so this is kind of wild. So we were up at North Bend.
Sure.
We're doing the cars.
Live burns.
Live burns, man. Cars on the curb day. And our academy group, we all rented an Airbnb up there so we could just stay.
Oh, fun.
It was awesome.
Cool. Like on a Friday.
Yeah. Dude,
oh, sick.
It was awesome.
Sick.
So and that night I get a text at 2 a.m. from some random girl who was dating the guy that my wife at the time was sleeping with, and it blew up that night. Just totally blew up. And I was like, I don't think I can be here right now. I got to go home. So I took off. I remember calling Captain McLean at 5 a.m. that next morning, being like, "Hey, this is what's up. I can't make it into,
That's
training
heavy,
that
dog.
day." Yeah,
that's fucking heavy.
It
bro.
was. Yeah, it sucked. And he was like, don't worry about it, man. You're good. Don't worry about your job. Just take care of yourself.
Cool, man.
Just call me. Let me know whatever you need. And honestly, man, the response that the department had to like that struggle was like I've got so much loyalty for the fire department.
Sold you.
Man. Yeah, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
Good people, like they care about you, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, dude, it was tough, but
Yeah.
worked through it and had a few kind of wild relationships after that. But
Yeah.
ended up meeting Desi, and it was like I definitely felt like I almost had to have those rough relationship experiences to be able to recognize how good and perfect she was for me, you know. Like I think I would have passed her by and not thought about it at all,
because that's what I was going to say.
Without those experiences, yeah.
When I met you, you were kind of like, oh, dog, I would never, I'm never getting married again.
Yeah,
I'm not going to whatever. And I got it. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And you were it's just like such a heartbreak and a disillusionment on what you think you know and what you think you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And then when those things kind of end, you end up in this place where it's like, I wouldn't even, for me it was, I'd be interested to know how you felt. I didn't feel bitter. I just felt like, I don't know, like I did my best and it didn't work out. Yeah. So I kind of was like, I'm good, bro. Like I didn't, you know, initially I had that feeling. Was that how it was for you, or was it just like, was it something different?
There was a lot of heartache and confusion for sure. And I think I went through a season of just being like, I'm just done with women. Like I don't like relationships, you know. I was like, it's not worth it. It's too painful. Like you put too much at risk. Was my mindset for a while, you know. And then it shifted a bit, and then when I met Desi, I was like, I was wrong, man. I was wrong. It's not a generalization. It's just
I love it's like the best way of being wrong, because like I remember when you met her or saw her and you were like, that girl's a baddie. Yeah, and you're like, if I could just go on a date with a girl like that. And then what's so cool is to watch how it's evolved. And then the relationship was going really well.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, would you ever have kids? And you were like, nah.
Yeah.
No. Not for me.
No, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Well, and Desi felt the same. Like we would talk about it a little bit, like maybe, but the general vibe was, we're good. We're fine. You know.
What changed?
She got pregnant. And then both of us were like, this is awesome. Like you
actually got excited.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're both super excited. Yeah, we're stoked.
It's so cool.
True, dude. Yeah, literally up until we found out she was pregnant, we were like, nah, we're good, man. We're just gonna like be the world's best aunt and uncle to
Love that.
my niece and
not a
nephew
bad
that we
job,
can be,
dog.
you know?
Not a bad job.
We were at peace with that. We're fine with it.
Yeah, man. So. It's cool, and I'm so glad to hear that, because I was always certain when I met you that I was like, oh, you for sure have all the skills to do any sort of high level committed partnership. Like you have such a high level of communication, hugely emotionally intelligent. You just naturally, relationally, like very, very skilled. You think about others, and I think you just have a way too of like really seeing people's value. You can deal with hard times. You know, you are quick to laugh, quick to celebrate, all the things you need to keep the mundanity of normal life feeling still really valuable and excitable, you know?
Thanks, man.
And so I just was like, oh, you have all the chops. You fucking have the chops for it.
Right? I hope so. I hope so.
No, you do. You definitely do. Yeah. And so that was really obvious. Then to watch that transition, it's just been cool to see that, like, not really like a growth thing, but like you were always this cat. It was more so that you kind of had to find it, I feel like, in yourself and go like, bro, if you feel like it's worth it. And that's kind of always hopefully what I echo to, which is like, if you feel like it's worth it, you should do it.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, you met this person. I was like, I don't know what I just know that he's happy. She's happy. And I was so stoked about that for you. I was like, I don't really give a fuck, because it was so obvious that there was such a valuable connection there.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, BT dubs, dude, Des is pregnant. I remember just being like, no shit, bro. It felt like such a 180. That's how I view it, like as such a 180, and not in terms of whatever, but then to find that on the other side of it, what's really there is such a deep sense of joy, man. That that is such a, like, makes me so happy for you, dog.
Thanks, man.
Like I'm so elated for you. Yeah. The tricky part about life is it doesn't always go that way.
No, it certainly doesn't. No.
And your life, I mean, as much as this year is such a big, exciting year for you, because this year you're getting married.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing the wedding.
Yeah, we're getting.
And then you're also pregnant. I don't know when. Is your kid due potentially this year?
July 18th.
Oh, so fucking yeah. So you're a dad and you're married. So this is what a fucking wild year. It's like so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It feels really good. It feels like because the past year and a half prior to this have been pretty rough, and we could talk about that.
Yeah, we should.
So this feels like a gift, a little gift from God, from the universe, of like, hey, you got through a hard season. Here's some blessings,
Yeah, man.
That's what it feels like. So yeah.
Because like you said, the year and a half before this, you were with Des, but you had some really heavy stuff happen in your personal life, and you can only talk about it as much as you want to. But I think it's also important to point out, like when you say, like, hey man, this year's kind of hopefully the other side of the coin in terms of what life can deal you.
Yeah, it was So in June of 24, my dad died, and it was unexpected, traumatic. We talked about that, super sad. And that same week, my little sister, she was diagnosed with brain cancer. So that was like, oh, how do you deal with that just as a person? How do you process and just like understand what's, your whole life gets shifted upside down, So, we took time to process that with my dad while we're trying to, be there for Hannah. And she went in and had a craniotomy the next week. She had a golf ball sized tumor. So they got that out, but they couldn't get everything. And so she was pretty good for a while. She went almost a solid year without just being like normal. Like it really felt like life was getting back to normal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then last July, she started to decline. It was balance issues and some cognitive stuff, and then it just got worse and worse. And the doctors authorized a second round of radiation for the brain, which is something they don't normally do.
Sure.
But in her case, it was like, let's try it. She's young, she's healthy, but so it was rough. So she ended up passing away in October of this last year. And yeah, man, it was like, wow, like
massive transition.
Massive, yeah.
Lots of heaviness to hold. Yeah, and clearly like not that long ago, my guy.
No, yeah, it's all fresh and raw and recent, So it's tough.
How do you feel like right now, because, I don't want to say you're, a glutton for punishment, but I'm like, you're a military guy. That's a hard life.
Yeah.
Then you leave that, you come to this job. We deal with people suffering all the time.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Then you have uniquely had a challenging road for sure. Yeah. And that's hard.
Yeah.
And, it's really, first I want to say I'm impressed that you've gone through the stuff you've gone through, and you've been able to stay such a heartful human being.
Thanks, man.
But also what I'm curious about, because I think for me that's a lot. That'd be a lot for me.
Yeah.
And I would love to articulate that. Yeah, man, I'm fucking tough, and I could find a way to. I have no fucking clue how I would deal with something like that. And my question is for you: how do you feel like you have been trying to, Mr. Rogers has that quote: "If it's mentionable, then it's manageable."
Yeah,
I always think about that.
Yeah.
And so my question is like, as you mentioned it, what is your method to management? How are you allowing that to be a part of your life? How are you still finding the good in your days? What has been the process to you being able to continue to walk forward, even though you're holding
a lot,
probably significantly more than your average person, especially in this little run?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question. Everybody has a different sort of philosophy, outlook on life, whether it's given to you by your religion, your faith, or whatever. For me, when I think about suffering and the problem of suffering in this world, I do personally have a strong belief and faith in that there is a God that loves us, that there's a reason we're here. I'm not Mormon anymore, but one thing that they teach in that church is that we're God's children. And I think the only way that I can understand suffering is that for us, it's like world-shattering, horrible stuff. And it would be tempting and easy to want to blame something like God on our own misfortunes. But if I try to look at it from a bigger picture, from God's perspective, or try to, the only thing that makes sense to me is that we're brought here to experience certain things, to grow. And suffering is one of the tools and mechanisms by which that happens, you know. So I try to tell myself that our life here is, from God's perspective, is like when we send our kids to school and they're out on the playground and they fall, they get hurt, they scuff their knee, they get into an argument with a friend. You know, for us as adults, that perspective is, hey, it's okay, buddy. It's a lot for you right now. You know, that's their whole world. You know, but it's not the end of the world. I still got you. You're going to be okay. And they're going to grow up to be adults and look back on that and have learned lessons and, you know, become stronger. And so for me, that's what like this life is it's our playground to learn, to grow, to get hurt, to be able to practice compassion, understanding. And truly, man, I think you can't fully empathize with others and their pain and suffering unless you've felt pain and suffering yourself, you know. And so I don't know, that's my philosophy on it. It helps me get through and hold some of the hardships, you know, that I've been through. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
I mean, it makes a ton of sense. And I love that you've found a way to find in your own, you know, faith and spirituality, something that's allowing you to walk through. I think there's people that, you know, everybody has their method, but the most important thing is the homogenous part of life is, unfortunately, misfortune will visit us all. Yeah. And grief will visit us all. Yeah. Yeah. But still the manner and method can be so different. Timing can be so different. Yeah. And finding a way to feel what you're feeling, not run from it. Yeah. But also not let it define the whole of your life, is something that I'm always fascinated and always moved by how people are doing it. I hear stories, and we see stories of people. We're literally visiting with people in the depth of their misfortune. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, dude, how are you going to walk through this one? That's like sometimes I'll leave a call or an incident, and that's what I'll be thinking, which is, dude, I just will like have the deepest longing for their well-being, because I'll just be like, bro, I wish I had superpowers, dog. Like I would. I know, me too. I would try to fix this one for you. This one seems so too much, so rough. Yeah. And just like so chaotic. Yeah. You know, and I think that I love that you've been able to hold on to something that has really added some meaning to your life and kept you open of heart and connected to life. And, you know, that, and then also too, to see like the chaos of life, bro. Like those are tremendously, like those are dividing moments in a person's life, like defining experiences. Yeah. And simultaneously in this year, there's also like a deep union of love and connection. There's also a new life, you know, showing up, and you're just like, holy shit, this place is madness. You know what I mean?
This place is madness, dude. I love it. It's true.
Yeah, you're just like, what is happening, bro? So another question for you, that like whether it's eating keto, new workout regimens, you know, even when like, you know, you bought the Porsche. Anytime someone tells me that you're up to something, I'm always like, yeah, so what? It makes sense. Like, what do you think was going to fucking happen, bro? Like, oh, you just don't know this stuff, right? That's why you're talking about it. Have you always been that way? Or has that been a kind of a newer development?
No, I mean, you talking about this makes me think of an experience I had as a little kid.
Okay.
So for some background, I was born in southern Utah.
Okay.
You know, Mormon country, you know, and everybody's white.
You don't say.
we all eat this, you know, steak, potatoes, deer, you know, venison. And then from there, like we moved up here to Washington. My dad went to dental school here. Very kind of homogenous, same sort of existence experience. Moved to Montana when I was like little. I mean, I don't know how old I was, 4 or 5 or something like that. third grade. What is that? What age is like third grade?
Third grade's probably like 8.
Okay, yeah. So
Maybe
around
9.
Yeah, so around there. I was like third, fourth grade in Montana, and when we were in Montana, we had this was after my parents divorced. My mom was dating this guy, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to take you guys to this new restaurant. You know, you guys have not been here before. You're going to like it." And I was like, "Okay." So we go to this restaurant. It's a Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
And I was like, "What is this?" You know,
first time,
man. And he was a cool guy. He was like, "All right, kids, you guys can order anything you want on the menu." And I was scrolling through the menu, you know, and there was something on there called mussels. I was like, "What?" I was like, "What is this?" You know? He's like,
what a tough ass first order.
He was like, "They're like clams, you know?" And I was like, "Clams?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So that was like, and I loved it, man. I was like, "This is the coolest freaking thing." And I've always been adventurous, like with food.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was it. That was probably the first memory I have of like, let's try something new.
Yeah.
What is this about? You know?
Because I feel like that's a really defining part of you is that I feel like you're somebody who looks at life as a place to have the opportunity to experience things.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of a person who, and with no judgment, just a different makeup. That's kind of like, hey, what makes me feel safe and adds value to my life is keeping things a particular way.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not shitting on it. I know people like that. They're lovely, good, smart, wise people. But for them, life is kind of about continuity, where I tend to live my life. And I think it's why I resonate with it, of like the best part about life is interruptions. That sense of new experiences, they're the interruptions that all of a sudden color my days, as opposed to the sense of mundanity that provides safety for some, provides for me a sense of boredom.
Yeah, I get that. I can see that, man. That's interesting because, like, I could see someone who maybe grew up in the same neighborhood, the same house, their whole life, same schools, same group of friends, and that's normal for them.
Yep.
You know,
feels good.
It feels good, yeah. And like for me, we moved a lot. Parents divorced, you know, when I was little. Like we were friggin' homeless for a short season. Like there's a lot of change, and that was
you lived in transition. Yeah,
so transition and change was the baseline. It was just normal, you know. So then the unique things within all that chaos that really come up to the surface is like, what is it? Like for me, it was the freaking mussels at a Chinese restaurant. You know, the first time I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is freaking cool, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We had another opportunity as a kid, a different guy my mom was dating. He was like this kind of cowboy dude, a former Green Beret. Like I looked up, I was like, this is a cool guy. You know, this guy's awesome.
He's extreme motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And he was like, hey, Bryce, you want to come with me? I got to go out to the ranch. There's a bunch of cows that are like close to like giving birth or whatever. So we got to go and hang out and watch them throughout the night. So like I went.
Do you have any reference for this? Just before you get to it, do you have any reference for this? You ever done anything like this?
No, I mean the closest was like I've been on horses. My grandma had some cattle at her place,
but like no, nothing like what you're about to go to.
No, dude, no. I was like, what are we getting into, man? And so I'm hanging out with this guy that I'm like, this is the kind of dude I want to grow up to be. You know, like I want to be like this guy. We're hanging out in this little bunkhouse on this ranch, and every couple hours we'd get up and we'd do our rounds around the field where all the cows are at.
Gotcha.
And I'd be walking with this guy. It's dark, you know. I'd be like, all right, watch out for the bull. He's a little grumpy. Like if he gets up, like just stand behind me. We'll be okay, you know. And we spent the night every 2 hours getting up and just walking these fields and hanging out with cows. I was like, what is happening right now? This is like the coolest thing, dude. And I'll tell you, you might want to cut this next part out. I don't know. But like the next morning, dude, we had to check the baby that's like the fetus or whatever. Yeah. And to do that, man, you have to put on this giant glove.
Sure.
And you go right in, dude. Okay. Right into the cow. And you're like, he was like, all right, is it facing the right direction? Can you feel the head and stuff?
Yeah, same game.
If it's not, like it's, we got to
do stuff to help move
it. Yeah. So I'm sitting there as like a 10-year-old, like fucking elbow deep in a cow, and I'm like, how did I get here? This is crazy, But I loved it. Yeah, like those are kind of experiences are cool, It's different stuff. But
no, I mean, I think that's the same. That's my point, which is like that level of openness to experience. I think has kind of led you a lot of places one of the things that I think has about that trait that's so helpful is I think it's also the very same thing that took you from, I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to have kids.
Yeah.
But that openness to like, well, this is a cool girl. We'll see.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're kind of like, marriage? I don't know. I guess we can revisit that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you're pregnant? Well, I guess I'm into being a dad. I think it's cool just to see how the fruit of that posture of like the heart of just like, I'm open a little bit. I don't know that I'm open to everything, but I'm certainly open enough to go like, what's here and how can I meet that with a sense of like, what kind of joy, what kind of excitement, what kind of at least curiosity can I bring to this? So it's just one of those parts of you that I'm always like, it's a cool thing, man. Because you're always a guy that I'm like, hey man, you gotta check this out. If I said that to you, you'd be like, all right, I'll check it out. You know what I mean? And that's kind of that. There's something about that is always a nice
thanks,
energy. Man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. There's definitely a downside to it, as we've been talking about it. Like because there's definitely, I envy those who have that, like, whatever the opposite of like this chaos that I live in is, like that stability and that framework of like, keep it simple, keep it straight, keep keep going, hold the course. Okay, how do I say this? We talk about people having ADD, right?
Sure.
I think I have what's called macro ADD. Might be a new coin term here.
Oh, I love it, bro.
I go from one
first
interesting
we documented, bro.
macro ADD, bro.
Yeah.
It allows me to like kind of try to flourish in the chaos of life, but I have a hard time settling and sticking to things. Like I definitely struggle with consistency. So like the upside is I can accept and do new wild things and embrace new adventures or interests, but there's very little that I feel like I'm good at sticking to and staying consistent with. And it's always been a struggle. Like the fire department has been the only, like the longest job that I've held. Like I'd get bored and move on to something else, whether I was a valet or a bus boy or working for Target, whatever I was doing. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm done with this. The fire department has captured me, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm trying to grow and become better at like holding on to consistency in life. But I mean, dude, with anything, whether it's like trying to be good at meal prepping every day or working out every day or whatever, dude, I'm all over the place. I'm not consistent. And I really don't like that about myself, but I think this conversation has kind of highlighted like the flip side of that is I am okay with the unknown. I am okay with like just crazy stuff happening and just see where it goes,
It's like, like I said, like you're going to have those strengths and curses. Yeah. Those gifts and curses. But at the same time, like you said, I agree with you. I have ADHD. Yeah. I have macro ADHD.
Nice.
But I mean, I've had that my whole life, you know what I mean, too. And that's always been a struggle for me to be consistent. And I think what I've just tried to do is just be honest about that. Yeah. With myself. I try not to lie to myself or live under the illusion that like I'm exceptional at, being diligent and like executing. I'm very detail oriented. And I'm going to be really great at all this particularity. It's like, bro, that's not my strength, which is also why I try to be honest about what I choose to do when I decide to move forward. Yeah. And I also try not to move forward in my life in certain ways where like when I was a kid, you take those personality tests,
Oh yeah.
And you're like supposed to help you figure out your job or whatever it is. Yeah. Like your vocational test. Yeah. I would do whatever I could to fucking put like lawyer on there. You need to manipulate that shit. You would just like lie and shit to try to be like, yeah, look at me, I should be a lawyer, whatever. And then you like get older and you're like, me and my buddy Nate were laughing about this, like, and then you think about how detail oriented a lawyer is, and you're like, they would have fired me. I would have lasted a week in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So it is that awareness too that like, it's not just like you said the macro ADHD. It's also like I've tried to make part of my goal getting older. Like that's okay. Everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. The game is how can you set up systems to try to maximize the strengths of who you are and to not allow the weaknesses of who you are to. And I'm not talking about weaknesses like if you're unkind, that's different. But I'm saying like the weaknesses of like I'm not the most disciplined. Okay. Yeah. So what do we need to leverage that? And what are those systems that might compel me to be more disciplined?
Yeah.
You know, do you feel like you've always played good for a hard coach? That's what I always say. Any sort of, and that doesn't mean like literally, it just means like anything where there's a looming threat.
Yeah.
I'm great. I'm a fucking tank. I could do it perfectly. As soon as you take away the threat of destruction or like huge, massive failure,
100%.
it's like, maybe I'll do it.
Yeah,
but like,
no, 100%. Like
Okay.
if I don't have, like when I was in the Army, you know, we had our drill sergeants like scary, you know, but it was motivating and I could lock in and I'm like, I'm good. Same with the fire service in a way. Like there's a lot of expectation and that creates this structure that I need to like be successful in life economically, you know. Like if I didn't have that, like I daydream about being an entrepreneur all the time. I come up with ideas like
you are
for
dude.
businesses.
You are an entrepreneur, whether you know it or not.
But I'm like the world's worst, dude. The world's worst, dude. My dad was the same way. Like he would talk to me about these invention ideas, but then when it came to executing, it was like, oh, if I had like some drill sergeant that was like, dude, get on the ground and give me 20, and then go and fucking like write up your business plan. I'd probably have a number of businesses already, but I don't, you know.
There's actually, I will say this, there's a thing now. Oh, what is it called? I'm going to forget. But there's a thing now where people show up, and I can't remember if it's called like surrogate or it's not symbiotic or whatever. Anyways, it's the idea that you have, and I'll figure it out later, but it's the idea that when you go to work, you have one other person in the room with you, and they're there just to check in with you throughout that day.
To like hold you accountable. Oh yeah.
Because there's a recognition that certain cognitive like profiles, the way certain brains work, they thrive on this thing. So like working out, right? Working out for you, like you can work out really fucking hard. Like I've worked out with you before and you can send it. But one of the ways I noticed, like you used to do CrossFit a lot.
Yeah.
And you were great at it. And I think one of those things is when there's that collective accountability,
that's 100%.
You're a fucking animal. You're like, oh, I'll die out here.
Yeah.
And that's also where I think you thrive in the fire thing too, because there's that comprehensive team sense.
Yes.
But when you're like by yourself, you're like, where's the motivation?
Yeah, dude. I
It's
go
hard.
home and sit on the couch, play video games. Like I'm like, oh. Dude, the only thing that has got me like my ass in gear for getting projects around the house done is the fact that we've got a baby coming.
It's good. It's
a
good threat.
I'm like, oh man, okay. To get the nursery ready, I got to get the office clean. To do all that shit, I got to move a gym, which means I got to get the garage clean, which means I got to go buy shelving, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe the baby's gonna be my drill sergeant. That's
no, honestly, dude, I will tell you this. As someone with ADHD and with a kid, it's been the best thing in my life.
Yeah.
Like, in a deeply emotional way, I would say this. Like, one of the pitfalls of personality similar to ours is the capacity to be distracted.
Yeah, 100%.
And one of the benefits of having a kid is it is not just a tough coach. It's a thing you truly like more than yourself, than your own comfort.
Yeah.
And that has been the greatest freedom of my life, which is, I might fuck off my own stuff. That may happen. Yeah. I may not exactly do what I'm supposed to do on this creatively. I may not get all my workouts in. The boy will always have food. Yeah. His clothes will always be clean. He will make it to every practice. Yeah. I will make sure that he gets every bit of his homework done. He will always have support. I will always listen to him. Yeah. Like that shit, dude. Like it's the one thing in my life that I'm like, try to catch me slipping. Yeah. You never fucking will. Yeah. That has been the one reward of like, and because it doesn't come from this place of doom, it flows from this place of deep love. Like, I just fucking love you, dude. I'm never going to let you drown. Yeah. There's such a gift in that for a person who's spent their life distracted. Yeah. So I only say that because I know that sensation, but I really think that part of it, that part of you is going to fucking rip being a dad. You're going to kill it.
I hope so, man.
Oh, yeah, man. You're gonna geek out at a level that you've been like, I never thought I would care about something so much in my life. Like, yeah, dude. I'm excited for you in that front.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, like, what's something that you are both excited and nervous about being a new dad?
Oh, dude. I mean, terrified,
first time dad.
Just terrified about everything. Like, just like, The first time I change that diaper, I'm probably gonna gag and get peed in the face. You know what I mean? Like,
I got pooped on the first time I tried to, for sure, bro. That's coming, yeah.
dude, like my gag reflex has gotten worse too.
Oh,
Like,
really?
it's gotten worse, man. I've been on some calls lately where I'm just like,
Oh,
like,
really?
Sorry, dude. It's like you gotta handle.
I don't have one.
You really?
Never in my
Dude,
life.
lucky man,
Not yet.
dude.
It could be
It's
coming, but not yet.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think my fear is just like, I don't know, all the little things that you need to do. Like, I think maybe it's social media is part of the problem. Like my Instagram's full of like, as a new dad, make sure you do this. Make sure you do this.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, fuck, what if I forget some of this stuff? You know?
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like there's elements that are gonna come naturally. At least I hope so. That's what I'm banking on, is that there's gonna be this instinct that kind of kicks in,
Mhm.
you know. And I like other dads I've talked to have had similar stories. Like, actually, one of my favorite stories is from Chief Steer.
Okay.
He told me this time his kid was like choking, like started to choke.
Oh, shit.
And he said he just grabbed his kid, picked him up by the feet, and did one of these like like upside down.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I don't know why I did that, man. He's like I'm a firefighter. Like, I know the protocols. I just grabbed this guy, flipped him upside down, and just like
Jiggled
boink.
the dirt.
He's like, just instinct, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, hopefully that's the same, man. You know, just instinct. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you will. I think you're gonna find those things, and that's the coolest part. Is like, you're gonna have your own vibe.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the things I like the most. I try not to give any prescriptive advice because I'm like, bro, your kid and you're gonna have your own magic. And the cool part is you have such an openness that I think is so useful for a brand new human being, fresh upon the earth, trying to figure this place out.
It's scary.
That's a lovely space to land. Like,
Yeah.
all you need to know is, I love you. I got your back no matter what, and we're gonna figure out who you are.
Yeah.
But you're gonna lead me, and I'm gonna try to help you,
Yeah.
whatever that is. You
Mhm.
know, you're gonna fucking murder it, dude. I'm like, I have zero doubts. I have zero doubts, bro.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about you actually since I've got the news that, you know, Desi's pregnant, and like, you're the type of, just over the conversations we've had since Huck's been around, you know, like, I look up to you as like the type of dad you are, and that's something I've super appreciated is you have what resonates with me as the right philosophy and mindset when it comes to parenting. It's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll tell you this. This is a little bit of a confession. When I found out it was a boy, my stress level went down just a little bit. Because I knew, I was like, if it's a girl, dude, there's going to be no self-control. I'm just going to be wrapped around her finger, like, anything you want, baby girl. Like, she's going to grow up to be this, like, spoiled brat.
See,
but with a boy, I'm like, at least I feel like I could institute some restrictions.
I think you would have done well with a girl. I think you would have done well with either. I think the truth is if I were to say something, I would say, like, you're still going to be wrapped around his finger.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part, dude.
True.
You're still just going to be like, you'll see.
Yeah.
Like, I would just word it like the level of good that you will be aware that they are worthy of.
Yeah.
It won't matter what their gender is. You will be frustrated that once you really see it, you just will. You'll see it and you'll go, oh, unfortunately, I cannot manifest the level of good you are worthy of.
Yeah.
I can only do my best.
Yeah.
And that is such a staggering recognition because you just will, I think, find in that little human being such a value.
Yeah.
And I hope what it does when you're down that road is I hope it just reminds you of how deeply valuable you are.
Oh.
That like that's you too.
Yeah.
It's like such a weird thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know your childhood fully, but it sounds like a bit of chaos, and mine was too.
Yeah.
And it was tough.
Yeah.
And the coolest part is I have fought to go, you're not a proxy by which I achieve my dreams. You're not like a fucking, you're not a thing I'm
you're going to be
processing.
an NFL star, man. Let's
go.
Oh,
God, no, we're not processing any of that shit through that kid. I'm fighting like as hard as I can not to do any of that. But what it is cool is the areas where you took some injuries, you got fucked up a bit. It's so cool to go back and go, oh, but see now, I'm in the seat, and we just get to do it so much more lovely than what I got. it's like this oddly healing thing. So moving back to this point that we were talking about earlier, you are walking toward marriage first time. How does that feel? Does that feel like something that you are excited about, nervous about, maybe both? What is that feeling like?
So the first time through felt pressured. So I talked a little bit about, Mormon, whatever. And there's a lot of like expectation around that. I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. But now with Desi, this is what I want to do. And it's less of being pushed into it and more of being pulled into it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fully different thing in so many ways. And so I feel like, like one thing I constantly strive for in life is a sense of peace. I just want to be able to come home and just have peace, And like I had mentioned earlier, a lot of my prior relationships, it wasn't like that. It was, this isn't bringing peace. This is like, there's turmoil. It's not, there's something off, So finding that I have peace in my relationship with Desi it was like this light bulb moment of, oh, this is what this kind of relationship is supposed to feel like. Or at least in my mind, what I want it to feel like. And it's here, So it's not coerced. It's not anything of like, I'm not trying to appease any kind of social expectations or norms around it. It's like, it's just the next step in our love for each other and our life together, So it feels very different from the first time, to the point where I'm like, I don't even recognize whatever I had done before. Whatever that marriage was, it's like completely different from this relationship. It's not the same thing. It's like a different category, Does that answer the question?
Yeah. I was just wondering, like, anything you can name that you're like, this piece is the part that if I was going to say what was different between the past relationship and this one, like with Desi, what is, if you can name it, is there something you can name about what is actually functioning so much different? Because I think a lot of people are, if they're looking for relationships or they're in that state of transition, or even if they're like just trying to improve their relationship, what's the part that's really working for you, that's giving you that sense of peace and connection?
I think that mechanically for her and I, we both have, it's like an unspoken sort of agreement that we don't have demands or expectations of the other person. We don't get like we have our little disagreements and arguments, but there isn't a sense of, God, I don't even know how to say it right. Like, it just feels natural. And maybe that's the thing, is like spending time to find someone that life just feels natural with. And it's not necessarily something you could just put a finger on and say, this is like the thing. Like, we don't ever fight, or we don't ever XYZ, or we came into the relationship agreeing on religion and politics and whatever. Like, Destiny and I didn't have any of that. Like, we didn't like have some kind of talk and agree on all these like set things before. It just was natural. And maybe that's because both of us are like very type B personalities, where we just kind of chill and we don't like give a fuck about much. Maybe that's what it is. Like, we're both okay. Okay, I think I figured it out. Here's the key. Find someone where you and your partner both have the same level of like acceptance of how dirty your kitchen can get before you have to clean it, and everything's gonna be okay. Like, we both have the same level of tolerance for like how disorganized and dirty our house gets.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe that's the true key. Just find someone that you have like that same level of.
But there's a level of it that you're describing, which really sounds like a flow and a natural ease.
Yes. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it's so funny. Everybody's so different. Like, and again, this is not me refuting anything you're saying. If anything, I'm stoked about it, that you found the thing you're looking for. But someone asked me recently, they were like, don't you want your relationship to be peaceful? I was like, of the one thing that I would want to describe about my long-term partner, peace is not one of them. I've never wanted my life to be peaceful, and my life has always been chaos. Yeah. And that's what I know, and that's what is within my comfort zone. In fact, one of the least comfortable things is a sense of peace. That is like where I'm like, uh-oh, what's happening?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like I'm like waiting for a shoe to drop. It's just
Yeah,
like something's gonna be thrown off. So for me, chaos is like perfect. Like when it's loud. My favorite place in the world is in the kitchen of my sister, where there's 3 little kids plus my son, and then my mom, my stepdad, my baby sis Hale, and everyone's talking.
Yeah,
it's loud, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is like nice. Home.
Yeah,
I love that. I love the madness of that. Everyone, Uncle Jason, blah blah blah. Hey Jake, can you whatever? Oh blah, blah, and I hear the laughter, and then whatever. That kind of thing feels so homey for me. Yeah. And even with my partner, if things are, I don't want drama, but like
and maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, I don't want drama, but the sense that there's a constant ebb and flow of things for me is what feels comfortable. Yeah. But at the same time, that's not for everybody. That's not everybody's interest.
Well, yeah, dude. And when I say peace, I don't mean like it's a quiet.
Yeah,
house.
I don't think that's like, what you're saying.
But it's the drama thing.
Yes,
that's what it comes down to.
You feel like, do you feel like your connection to Des stays tight, even if
it stays coherent, consistent? We don't have moments where like either of us are like wondering what's the other person thinking. Why is she mad? Why, the drama's not there. Like the level of drama in this relationship compared to past ones is like non-existent. And that was this thing that clicked for me of like, okay, this could really actually work. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So it's the drama. Like I do like chaos too. Like I love going, to my sister and brother's house and the kids are going crazy. Like I do like that kind of stuff too. But the chaos, the peace that I look for is the peace in that like below the surface.
We're good.
Are the currents going in the same direction?
Cool, man.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Cool. Okay. That makes a ton of sense. That's just awesome. I'm so glad that's what it feels like. Okay. So before we get out of here, not because we have to, but I got to pick up that boy actually. So one other thing I wanted to ask you, my man, is, now that you're kind of in this different state, like with, your partner, you have this potential kid on the way, you know what I mean? If you were to think about it, what's the part in you, like, just as a person, like, you're like, if you, like, cause, so for me, I'll give you this reference. When I knew that I was going to be a dad, I was aware of stuff that I had been through that was really rough when I was young. I was really focused on not recreating that for Huck. So I did a bunch of different things to try to almost prep myself for the new role and responsibility that I'd have. I just wanted to be like, I want to bring my best self to this. And I knew that there just were skeletons in there. That's not everybody. But for me, I just had a feeling. I was like, I needed to do it. And it was really, really helpful. Yeah. I'm always curious when I meet people that are coming into, these are big roles. These are like kind of, for a lot of people, these is like the biggest role you'll ever have. Like you are, I tell you this all the time. You think it's hard running 100 miles? The highest stakes game on earth is making a human being, period. Raising a person is the highest stakes game. Committing your life to serve, love, care for, see, validate, encourage and support another human being as your partner is probably the second highest tiered game you'll play. In my view. I'm not saying that's the truth. That's just always how I've seen it. For you, as you're walking into these new, bigger roles, is there anything in yourself that you're like, this is what I'm hoping I bring, and these are maybe a little bit of like kind of here's the part that I think I'm going to bring that's good. Here's the part that I'm a little bit nervous about or feel like I may have to meet at some point down the road.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes back to that macro ADD thing we were talking about and my struggles with consistency. So, like, my hope is that I can show up and instill in him an excitement for life and an ability to embrace the chaos and the unknowns and to be okay with not knowing. You know what I mean? Like somehow be able to teach him like it's okay to not know everything. It's okay not to have the answers to life, the universe, and everything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if I can somehow show him that while I'm working on my weaknesses, it's okay to have weaknesses and it's okay to struggle through that and just take your time and be graceful with yourself, And I'm hoping that I can like solve my own issues as the kid comes and get better at the things I need to get better at, you know? So I don't know. I probably, when I think about like life when he arrives, I think I'm relying on the fact that a lot of the innate sort of instincts will be there, and I'll just sort of hopefully know what to do. But I don't know, dude. Yeah. Like, I'm not like, I didn't. No. You know,
I'm with you, bro. I'm just laughing because, like, I remember thinking similar stuff.
I'm just winging it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just winging it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's all made up.
Yeah, you know.
That's the tricky part. Yeah. It's all made up. So, you know.
Hopefully, because he's my kid, like, it'll vibe right, you know. Things will work, but I don't know, man. I'll probably be calling you quite a bit.
No, man, I don't think you'll need to, and I honestly don't think that I necessarily have. Like, my expertise is on Huck Lewis.
Yeah.
That's my expertise.
Yeah.
I don't have expertise on
every
Bryce's boy.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part, is that you will be an expert on the human being that you're given. Yeah. And
that's what I'm hoping.
You will be. You will be.
Yeah.
And I think you also just, you get the kids you need.
Yeah.
You always get the kids you need, even if they're super hard.
Yeah.
You know, I think they wake you up to ways like you say, like, if I got a girl, she would be wrapped around my finger or whatever. And I'm like, nah, if you got a girl, it'd be the kid you need.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, ooh, I have to work on, I mean, they're just, no offense, I love my little boy. God bless him. I mean, he literally is, he is the fucking man. Yeah. But the reality is like on average, the emotional intelligence, sensitivity, sophistication, relational skill set that's inside of a little girl tends to trump that of a little boy for quite some years.
Yeah.
And if anything, it wakes you up to how sophisticated the kind of love and thoughtfulness and the tone of your voice and the way you relate and all these things, it wakes you up, I think, because even with my nieces, I notice I'm like, ooh, it's not, because people are like, oh, they're you know, girls are more sensitive. No, they're more aware of what they feel, and they're more aware of what you're feeling. Yeah. And that just wakes you up to like, ooh, I have to be careful. Yeah. My little son is still, we live in poop joke central. We just live in poop joke central, and we have for a decade. Like, this kid, once he discovered a poop joke, we just live there, which I love. But that is like, his brain is, my son is very sweet, sweeter than me, and very sensitive. But it's the difference of the difficulty in articulating it and expressing it, the blah, blah, where with my nieces, it's the opposite. Yeah. Huge ability to emote, huge ability to understand, to perceive, to kind of go like, something's different. Yeah. And they have that, they just had a more innate ability on average. I'm not saying it's not every kid. Yeah. But I just think you get the kids you need. Yeah. I mean, they're such teachers. If you have the eyes to see. Doesn't mean you're not guiding them. Yeah. But it's just like you said, you're working on stuff. And they're going to be working on stuff. Yeah. And I've tried to rope my son into this collaborative idea that like, we're going to talk, you and I, and we're going to be in trust. And the way that works is when I blow it, I'm going to be real about that. Right. And when you blow it, I'm going to have grace for you. And we're going to learn to see each other, hold space for that. And then we're going to both learn to work hard to continue to improve that trust and that connection and our behavior together. Instead of like, I'm the boss, I'm always right, don't fuck up. And if you do, the hammer's coming. Like, I just didn't want that for him. Yeah. So, but you'll see, man. The kid you get is going to do your own thing. You're just going to be on your own path. And what I hope the call is, dude, I did this and this and this. And you're just going to experiment. Because that's why they keep writing books about child rearing. Because the kids are all different. It's like, try to write one book. And it's like, there are some comprehensive ideas that might be useful. But by and large, the tricky part is, you and me are different. I guarantee you we were different kids. Yeah. Whatever works for me ain't gonna work for you. Yeah. And vice versa. So when I meet my buddy Nate, my sister, my homie Ryan, like, I just have a bunch of friends that have a broad, like, large numbers of kids. They're like, that's the real mindfuck. When you're all of a sudden like, oh shit, you're different. I tried that with your brother. It worked gangbusters.
Not with you.
Fucking died with you. So I'm always like, I kind of feel like I'm a little bit in cheat mode where I'm like, I've got one boy. Yeah. So I just look good. People are like, oh, you're killing him. I'm like, oh, I've only got one. Could have another kid who's like, fucking hate him. You know what I mean? Like so I'm just kidding. But I'm curious to know, and I always say this, there's something going really well, you know. And my buddy, I always got to give him credit. My buddy Nate says this a lot. But it's that there's something going well. There's
Mhm.
something you're anxious about, and there's something that's tough.
Ooh.
And so the whole thing is like, if you were to name what right now is going well, if you're like, this is going well, there's something I'm excited about, this is a good thing, what would that be?
I mean, the journey with Desi and the pregnancy.
Mhm.
I mean, it just feels like we got our, we got our DNA stuff back.
Okay.
Low risk for all this stuff. Like
Cool.
that was the most important thing for us, was like, is it going to be a healthy baby? Like
Yeah.
we got great news. She's finally coming out of that like sick all day, every day thing. You
Cool,
know?
man.
Like,
Good.
I mean,
that's rough.
yeah, like it's been the theme of the talk as kids and stuff. But I mean, like what's going well? It's that. It's like life is moving into this amazing phase that I'm just so excited about.
Mhm.
You know, anxiety stuff, like
It can be good or bad. Just things that
Yeah.
you're like, this is kind of unresolved. This part's in my head. It's lingering.
you know, I think one of the questions that's come up with Desi and I is like, are we gonna, like, we don't go to church or anything like that, you know, but it's like, when this kid arrives, like, should we do that? Should we have some sort of foundation, some regularity, and a faith that is, you know, that we're okay with? And is that the right thing for the kid? And so that's a little bit of anxiety, because now with those talks, like, I've been diving into like, well, we don't want to go back to the LDS church, and she's not like comfortable with Protestant stuff or whatever. So we're kind of talking about Eastern Orthodox and a few things. And I'm like, oh man, this is stressful. There's so much to learn and to figure out, and what's actually going to be right. And like, so there's all these like metaphysical unknowns that are like, holy crap, dude, it's stressful.
That's
you
tough.
know?
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
and I'm just trying to take it all in stride, and just, we'll figure it out. We'll be okay. You know?
Yeah.
But that might be the current thing that's a little bit like anxiety inducing. Plus, I'm getting ready to go help out and teach academy with the fire department. So,
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. And then what was the last one? It was
The last one is like, what? Like, is there something right now that's hard? Something that's heavy?
You know, honestly, it's still just processing the loss of my sister and my dad. That's just an everyday. Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, it'll be okay.
I mean, it's
That's
okay.
heavy.
It's okay if it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say, which is we look at people and like, you are so capable of being warm and funny and easy, but like, people are walking around holding all this.
Yeah.
And I think the thing we forget about each other is like, oh, dude, I might be smiling, laughing, talking about the game or some stupid clip from a movie or some whatever,
Yeah.
you know, but also there's this whole other thing going on inside me that I'm not talking about, because most people don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
And most
Yeah.
people want to pretend that that's not a part of the people we're sitting in rooms with. In your life right now that you're like, you know, I just started trying this, or I've been doing whatever. Is there anything in your life that's new that you're like, oh man, this is kind of, I've been geeking on this?
Like we're talking about, you know, that church stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I've been so down the rabbit hole on like Eastern Orthodox things. Like, I'm like, well, podcasts and debates. I'm listening to all this stuff. So that's like what I'm currently, it's like this blend of like, what do we want to do for a kid? Plus, like, that's my current like macro ADD focus is like, this is wild.
Yeah.
Let me learn about this stuff, you know?
Yeah. Anything cool you heard there? Anything that's interesting or messing with you that like you specifically can think of?
What's really kind of messing with me is, so growing up Mormon, the whole premise, and this is kind of a similar thing with just Protestantism. In general, is that the idea is like, there was the original church set up by Christ and the apostles back in the day. And at some point there was like this great apostasy, this like going away from original teachings.
Sure.
So then you get to the United States and the Reformation, and Mormonism blossoms out of that. And they're like, oh, we're restoring that. We have apostles now. We've got prophets back on the earth. It's like this great restoration. What was never talked about, what I never learned, was that there's this church that's like, we've never changed from the beginning. Like, we've been here doing the same thing from the start. And that's what the Eastern Orthodox claim anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, that's a wild claim. Let's learn more about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if we're going to go become Eastern Orthodox, but it's kind of wild to learn about.
It's a really deep world. Okay.
It's so deep, dude. I'm like, do I have to go get a degree in theology to figure this out? Like, I think I'm just going to fall back to like what we've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah.
To cap it off, is like, just love the people around you.
Yeah.
I think we're probably safe if we do that. You know?
I tend to agree, and I think at the end of the day, you know, you guys are going to set whatever vibe there is there.
Yeah.
And I think that you should just trust yourself.
Yeah. Thanks,
you know,
man.
I don't think you're a person who's going to end up down the road in a position where you vehemently oppose everybody who maybe doesn't think exactly as you do. I don't think that's going to be necessarily your path.
No.
But I think at the same time, like I would tell most people, like, trust yourself.
Yeah.
If your gut or there's some part of your being that feels enlivened, enriched, made more beautiful, capable of loving better, and capable of seeing people more fairly, like, trust that.
Yeah.
If that feels good, trust that, you know.
Yeah. I agree with that, man.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I just want you to know, man, I look forward to having you back on.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Dude.
Yeah, and I also want you to hear me say, like, I so appreciate you being so vulnerable, talking so honestly about the stuff that's going on in your life. I think it's not everybody who could do it. And I think
no worries, man.
It's really interesting because it's the part you never see. Like, we're bullshitting, we know each other.
Yeah.
But like, I'll get DMs and messages and texts from people who are in similar spots, have undergone similar things, or have had, you know, common pains, common excitement. Like, oh, dude, I remember when I was doing saying that was fucking sick to hear. I forgot. Like, me and my wife went through the same thing, and I just want you to know, like,
that's cool.
We often don't realize how much our stories are shared.
Help other people.
They can help them, but also too, like, there's a shared understanding. Yeah. And that, like, is such a powerful thing to be able to bring, but it only works if people decide to just like shoot it fucking straight, good and bad. So
we're not walking a new path.
Yeah.
You know, the pains we go through have been walked before. Other people have felt it, you know, so.
And it's good, but it's still that thing where, like, you know, James Baldwin always says that, like, we always think our pain is so singular that what happens to us is like, oh, no one could understand. He goes, and then you read, right? Like, but that's the same idea, right? But then you discover that, like, and the hope is not that, like, anyone minimizes your unique pain by going, oh, don't take it seriously because, you know, you're being whiny because other people have had it and they move through. It's like, no. This is just so you know you're not alone. Yeah. You're not this single person that's out here holding and carrying all this and being like, oh, no one can connect to you. That's tough. So I hope that that's what happens when I share this, is that people show up to acknowledge, like, unfortunately, my friend, I too have been through these kinds of waters before, and it can be rough. But also too, I hope that there's the same of, like, you're also headed into some lovely waters ahead, you know. So anyways, man, thanks again as always, and thanks for bringing the whiskey. It was
man, 100%.
But love you, have you back on, man. And
love you too, brother.
Yeah, dude, it was really good to chat with you, dude. Always is.
Same. 100%, dude.
Sweet.
Yep.